For my family. Most of our regulars will probably attest that on occasion I have mentioned that our youngest daughter and her husband had their first and second daughters a year ago this week. So I've, of course, written a song for them, actually for all 8 of my grandkids. They all have a song. But today I'm going to do one that I wrote for Aubrey. This is a world premiere. No one has heard this besides my wife, and it got Grandma's permission, so I know I'm good. But most of my songs have a little backstory to it, and hopefully it'll help you be blessed. This goes back to June 8th, 1979. When my first child, Diana, was born prematurely. Love her name. And she spent the 2 days of her life in the NICU at Providence Hospital and literally died in my arms. A year later, many of you know my daughter Michelle. On June 9th, 1980, she was born also about 3 months prematurely, and she looked worse than Diana did. And on June the 10th, a year from the day that Diana had passed, they told me that Michelle was probably not going to make it through the night. Well, God had a different thing. For those of you who don't know her, she just retired from the Air Force as a full bird colonel and a combat pilot and a lot of other cool stuff. But she spent the first 30 days of her life in the NICU. So my experience with the NICU was not real pleasant. Well, on June 8th, actually June 7th of last year, our daughter was having serious health issues, and her doctor said, "Ashley, we have to take these babies now to save your life." Now, they were only about 6 weeks premature, but there was no place in the inn, so to speak, no NICU in Midland, so they took her by hospital down to Sparrow Hospital in Lansing, where they correctly assumed that the NICU would be necessary. Little Emma, who I think is going to be the ringleader of these two, was okay. All 4 pounds, 4 ounces of her was okay. Larry, put up the first picture, please. But that's my Aubrey. I had done enough time in the NICU. Thank you. Ironically, her nurse's name was Michelle, which is, of course, my daughter. She could not breathe on her own. She could not eat. You can't really see it in her very well, but she has a feeding tube in her little nose because she could not eat. Even my daughter and her husband were saying, you know, she's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. And you know, I had great faith in the medical staff, but I've done enough time in the NICU that I wasn't as rational even as the parents were. So I was very frightened. Emma went home with Ashley on Mother's Day last year. She was great. Emma never had a problem at all. So she went home with Ashley on Mother's Day. What a wonderful Mother's Day gift. But Aubrey was still in the NICU. During the night, Ashley received, I got to say, the people who work in an NICU are angels in human flesh. I've got nothing but great things to say about the people who treat these little ones, who take care of these little ones, who love these little ones. But during the night, Ashley got an email. Hang on just a second, Larry. My wife, y'all know, Rebecca's a nurse, and she had a 6 o'clock shift. So we were that early, you know, and when she gets up at 4:15 on a 6 o'clock shift day, she tries to be quiet as a church mouse. Don't wake me up. But at 4:15, she started shaking me. She said, "Paul, you got to get up. You got to wake up." And of course, she said, "I got a text from Ashley." You know, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, "Oh God, no, please, Lord, no, please, no." Larry, put it up. last we'd seen her was what you just saw. And Ashley sent us this picture during the night. Of course, we didn't get to see it till Rebecca got up and checked her phone. And the first words out of my mouth was, I'm overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God. Being a songwriter, as you can imagine, my second thought was, man, that would be a cool title for a song. And that's the song I'm going to sing for you right now. And I really hope I can get through this. I was practicing it and not doing so well. So let's see how I do. Looking on in wonder at your face, praying from my heart you'll be made whole again. On that precious night and in that place, joy forevermore filled my soul, and I am overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God, welling up from the depths of my soul. And I know that Jesus loves her more than I could ever know. And I am overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God. Every time I hold you, I can see a miracle that always will be my love. Hold your uncle close and we'll be free to hear and see the wonders God can do. And I am overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God, welling up from the depths of my soul. And I know that Jesus loves her more than I could ever know. And I am overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God. Rest now, my little one. Nothing here can harm you. Safe in my embrace. Never fear, my little one. In the arms of the angels, find your peace. And I am overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God, welling up from the depths of my soul. And I know that Jesus loves her more than I could ever know. And I am overwhelmed by the awesomeness of God. The awesomeness of God.